Do you want to learn how to take your video call quality from looking like this
It's not great, right?
to looking like this?
Today, I'm going to show you the easy, simple setup that you can have if you want to do Zoom calls that look a bit more professional. So I'm going to hand it over now to our content manager, Kenneth.
Hello.
And he's just going to show you and explain you and do all the stuff because I actually essentially have no idea how to do it or how to set it up.
Thanks, Nils, for passing it on to me. I'm going to take it from here. Let's start with the core of the setup. And obviously, it's already in the title. It's the Canon M200. It's the neglected one out of the bunch. It was kind of released and was kind of laughed at because it's a joke of a camera. Oh my God, it doesn't come with a headphone jack. My word. But things why you should consider getting this camera over, like, let's say the original M50 is clean HDMI. Now, this is a concept that you probably would have never heard of if you're not even remotely interested in cameras. Basically, the gist of it is very important for your camera to have the ability to shoot in clean HDMI, 30 HDMI, clean HDMI, 30. You get what I mean? You get all this camera mumbo jumbo on the screen all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why don't I just get the M50 then? I can have a streaming setup and a vlogging setup. Our camera of choice is the Canon M50, so it's like no joke of a camera. It's very capable and it's very good for what it does for the price point as well. Problem is that Canon M50 is the problem. It doesn't have the ability to do clean HDMI. First thing you should get is a dummy battery. Basically, it's a fake battery that goes into your camera and it requires external power in order to, I guess, use your camera. Just anywhere that provides electricity or some sort of power. You know, a traditional camera battery requires you to just plug it in and then close the hatch and it works because, you know, you charged it. Now, the reason why you want a dummy battery is because just imagine having to change out your battery every time it dies out. Take it off from your setup, then you have to put it back in, then you have to adjust the settings again. It's a whole thing. So if you can just deal with that in one fell swoop by just getting a dummy battery, you never ever have to remove your streaming camera from its setup and it just stays there forever. So the next thing you should get is a micro HDMI to HDMI cable. One end has micro HDMI, the other end has HDMI. The micro HDMI goes to the camera and the HDMI goes into the third thing, which is the video capture card. You can get whatever you want for a video capture card. You can get the Elgato one, the super professional one that you see all your favorite streamers use. You could also go to the opposite side of the spectrum on the cheaper end, which is like a literal dongle. You can get whatever you want, but as long as you have the ability to connect an HDMI through a source of whatever into your computer. So once you have all of this, is basically set. You have to plug in everything and then you're good. But like I mentioned earlier, there is one caveat that you might not think of when you think of live streaming setup. The last item you need to make this whole thing work, SD card. You basically need to trick your camera that it's functioning like a normal camera. That SD card is that way of tricking the camera. It doesn't matter if it's the biggest capacity, like 256 gigs, just get an SD card and plug it in and leave it. You set everything up one time, you take the cable, and forever, ever, for how long you use this camera, you just use that one connection, you plug it in, turn on your choice of app, one cable to manage it all. So we're finally getting towards the end game. Now you have everything. You have the camera, you have the cables, you have, I guess, the setup done. You know, you're good to go. It's on a tripod in the corner of your desk, looking kind of good. What do you do from here? Now, obviously, for my setup and the office setup, it looks way like, wow. Thing is, we have a really, I guess, overkill light, which is from Aperture. We have a Shure SM7B, which is the microphone. I'm literally in a soundproof box. Like, there's foam everywhere in this room. So, like, yeah, this setup is kind of overkill, but it's nothing that you can't achieve. You can get any basic Amazon light, any Yeti mic out there, put that together, buy the same camera setup, and have, you know, a really good look. You can always upgrade whatever you have now on a budget, and that's the point. I'm gonna go back to crying my room now because it's really hot in here. Goodbye. Like the video. I'm tired. I've reshot this thing like 7 times. It's so hot in here. I don't know why I don't want to turn on the AC. I just want to have the crispy sound. But hey, what are you gonna do?